Okay, so again, this is with indexing is one of the things that you can do with lists as well. We saw it in strings. So for example, if you wanted to access this first snip in here, Python's indexing always starts with 0, so it's going to be the same with lists, where you go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 in that order. So this snip RS54 would therefore be our element 1. Is that correct? Is snip RS54 element 1? Can anybody answer that question for me, either via the chat or otherwise I'm just going to continue. Okay, so this is not correct because we just said that the indexing starts at 0. So this would mean that the RS54 should be element 0. And then this is always the case, just like with strings, where you're going to use square brackets to access it. So if you wanted to access this element from here, you would say the variable name of the list, and you would call it or access that by putting it in square brackets and taking out the element 0. And if you then want to print it to standard out, which is your screen, then you would say print. You would just obviously print this by using the normal print with the open brackets. Okay, and similarly, the last element in here, you could access the same way by using participant 1 snips, your variable name for your list, opening square brackets, and then you could count 0, 1, 2, 3. So this will look like this. I'm just going to fill it in here. 3, or like we did last time, that is also called element -1. So this and this would be the same. It would access the last one. Okay, so now you remember that with the slicing, so we can also slice out multiple elements. So if you, for example, wanted to splice out oh, actually, let me just do something here. Let me create, okay. If you wanted to access from element RS111 up until RS081, 0, 1, 2. Now, remember there's a 3 there because this is up and 2, but not including the last one. Okay? So it's basically, if you look at it in terms of snips, it will be more than and equal to the first element. And it would be less than the last one, which is number 3. Okay, so if you then print this, remember, all I did here was I just gave it a new variable name. This is the part that we're pulling or slicing out from your list, and I'm storing it in variable names 2 and 3, which is intuitive for me. Then you will see that it's printing out exactly that. And again, it maintains, because this is a list, if it's going to slice it out, it's going to maintain a list. You can always convert that to a string by adding, remember, you can just say string and then do the snips 2 and 3, and this will convert it to a string, but we don't really need to do that now. Okay, then list, now here we get a method, an index method, and it's not the same as this. This is in the case where you absolutely know that something is in there. So you can pretend that, for example, you know that there's a snip called RS111 in this file or in this list, and you don't know at what position it is, and for some reason you need to know the position, then you will just use the .index. Again, it's just your list name, .index, and then it takes an argument, and in this case your argument is the snip that you want, and it normally gives you a value that states, so in this case here, I'm going to run that dot index, and it will tell you it's found at position 1, 0, 1.